Welcome to Anakin Plays Medieval Dynasty. Alright, hi, this is Anakin and welcome to Series 1, Episode 10 of Medieval Dynasty. Now, the first thing you're probably going to notice, we are way ahead. A lot has changed. I've kept going. I was recording more episodes. And what I'm finding with this game is because of the way, the flow of the game, because there's a lot of, running between A and B and things that are kind of repetitive. Once you've seen somebody build a building one or two times, you don't need to watch it 22 times. A lot of the gameplay, I think it's more interesting for the player than it would be for somebody watching a video. Like, for example, if I'm hunting and I'm walking through the woods, I'm actually very alert and actually paying attention. It's kind of fun because I'm looking for the animals and stuff. But if you're watching in the video, you may be looking along with me, but it's just not the same. So what I'm going to do going down the road with this is I'm going to play ahead, and then I'm going to stop and take snapshots and kind of show you what I'm up to, and also kind of show you the things that I've learned along the way. And that's what we're going to cover right now. So let's start with, I've actually got a list of stuff I want to talk about. So let's go into our house. Remember, this is our first little house we built. I don't even know if I'm going to be able, let's go into our warehouse. I'm going to show you a big difference already. Our warehouse, our resource storage used to be right there. It's not there anymore. Now, why is that? It's up here. But take a look at it. No, that's the house. Take a look at this sucker. That's the resource level 2, and I built it, and it's built with all logs. It's logs. All the sides are logged. The insides are logs. The roof is log. It's lovely. And I need to go in here and get a torch, I think. Yeah, I need a torch. Okay. And so let's talk about cooking. In fact, I'll show you right up here because this is something else I wanted to show you. Notice that right there, the smithy. It's like this one. These stone campfires are awesome. Why? Well, one, there it is. Once you build it, it's always there. You can come back to it, and I've got them now scattered in about 3 or 4 different spots out on the map, so I can go anytime I decide to go have a meal or sleep or whatever. I've got a stone campfire already built for me. Now, that was one. Now, number 2 is, let's go into the tavern. I want to show you something I've learned. If I can find the tavern. Oh, that's it right there. I'm walking right by it. Okay, here's our little tavern. If you go right here, if you go hit crafting, notice it has the roasting functions like you would on a fire out in the wilderness. And you notice in the early ones, I was building little fires right outside my own house in order to do this roasting, which I didn't have to do because you can do the same thing in a house. You can go right over the fire and do the roasting, and then go into the pot and do the menus with the veggies and the meats. There's our tavern keeper. He's having a fine day, just standing there. You'd think he'd try to look busier when I'm around. Let's cut through the barn here and look at our farming. Notice this, we've got cabbage planted all over the place. I really did a lot of work to get that done, didn't I? No. Got NPCs, got our villagers to do it. These 2 dudes right here that are now kind of standing around doing nothing. I could probably reassign them to something. But they have been handling this beautifully. If we look at our management and we look at farming and that field, notice these other fields, we'll get to that in a minute. They've got it all set up. The plants are growing, and later on, when we change seasons, they'll be ready for harvest. Now, why cabbage? Mad Dog suggested I do this, and I've been looking to do the math to figure out, okay, what combination do I really want to use? Because here's the thing you need to do. You need to have whatever you're growing as veggies matched up with whatever you are cooking over here in the tavern. So we've got orders for our tavern guy. If we go to buildings and scroll down to the tavern and look at it and go in here, we've got him making pottage. And pottage is 1 cabbage and 1 meat. Now, a cabbage is 7 nutrition. A meat is 2 nutrition. So if I ate a cabbage and a meat, even if I cooked the meat, I would only have 9 nutrition. If I put them together in a meal and eat the pottage, I am now getting 30 nutrition, which is, you know, it would take me 4 cabbage and a meat to get the equivalent if I ate the products without cooking. So, plus if I'm eating raw meat, I've got a chance of getting poisoned. So this is working very nicely, but the key is you have to decide what are you going to have in your field and what are you going to cook. And I was planning on dividing all this up like in fourths and having 1/4 be onions and carrots and cabbage and beetroots, but you don't have to micromanage as much if you just have one product that you know you can coordinate with your tavern. And 2, cabbage has 2 planting seasons. You can plant it in the spring, harvest it in the summer. You plant it in the summer, harvest it in the fall. So you've got 2 growing seasons. So it's twice as good as the other vegetables. Carrots also have 2, but they kind of overlap over a year. Cabbage is, to me, the best. And then you just do that simple little recipe, and now I've got 30 nutrition food. And keep in mind that nutrition, it goes up to 100. The nutrition bar is the second from the left over there on the bottom left. I can't point to it because, you know, the way the controls work, your cursor is where you're looking. But down there on the bottom left, that red bar is your health, which I've let mine, I've been working myself to death. I can tell you, I have been working non-stop, including nights and everything. I haven't slept in I don't know how long. So, not me personally, my character. So, your nutrition, sorry, that's your health, is the red one. The gold bar on the right-hand side, the inner right-hand side, that gold one, that is your nutrition. It goes up to 100, and then it degrades over time as you move around and do whatever. And by eating the pottage, you get 30 nutrition at a pop. And so our villagers are eating pottage because that's what's being cooked for them. It's making all of our food go a lot longer, and our food is in good shape, very good shape. The wood is now in good shape too. That's another thing I wanted to mention, is that you need a lot of wood to make all this work. I actually have now, if we look at the buildings, I have 2 level 1 wood sheds and a level 2 wood shed, and I've actually got room for a 4th person if I need them, or I could shut one of these down. There's a lot of things we could do now, but the point is you need a lot of wood to make things run. And I think the other thing is, if I'm starting over, if I do this again, if I play this game anymore after this, I will think about doing a bit of a wood rush where I have settlers. As I get my settlers, I'm going to try to get a lot of wood going so that I don't have to spend my time chopping it down, and they can do that for me. So that's the cooking, that's the farming. I talked about the stone fireplaces. Now let's talk about repairing buildings. If I right click while I've got a hammer in my hand, we've got all these options. By default, it's in building mode. But we can also go to repair, upgrade, downgrade, and destroy. Now, upgrade and downgrade, I don't think right now have any functionality. I think that's future. That you could take a house and upgrade it to like a level 1, take it to a level 2 or whatever. But we can, for now, do repair. So I click repair, and notice all the green. I can tell you there was a lot of red before I went around and repaired stuff. Shoot, I wish I'd left something for you. Sorry about that. But what you do is you find you can look in your list of buildings here, and you can see the state that they're in. And when they get to a certain level down here as they degrade, like this one here at 67, it'll get a little worse off. I think it's around 50-ish, but don't quote me on that. And it will come out with a status of damage. So then you can go into this repair mode, and there'll be a red, the wall will be red, so you could come up like maybe the wall or the roof. So say that roof was bad. I could come up and look at that roof right there. See, it's at 75% health, if you will. And it would tell me what I need to repair it, and I could just get those and repair them just like you would do buildings. So that's repairs. Very, very useful to keep your buildings going. Now, let's talk about how you can change designs. That's very interesting too. When I build a new building, let me see. Hang on one second. I will set up building a new building. Okay, so first thing I want to do is show you chopping wood. Now I've improved my character now to the point where he's pretty good at extraction, and that's an iron axe. Now watch what happens to this poor pine tree. We started out, it took 5 whacks to take that tree down. Now watch this. 1, 2, and it's gone. That's the end of that tree. Off she goes. 2 whacks with that iron axe with an upgraded character, and you're done. That saves you a tremendous amount of time. Now, the other thing is the shovel. Absolutely have a shovel, because it's just great for taking out that stump. It gives you a log. So remember, that pine would normally be worth 3 log for us, right? If I go back to the pine, to this, give it a couple of whacks there and turn it into logs. And instead of getting 3 logs out of that pine tree, I'm getting 4. So it turns that little birch from 2 to 3. It turns that pine over there from 3 to 4. It turns that maple back there from 4 to 5. So it's just tremendous to have a shovel. You must have a shovel. I would recommend getting one early, as quickly as you can. As soon as you can put in a workshop 1, you can make a shovel and go for it, or you could buy one as well. But get a shovel as soon as you can. I wish that's one thing I wish I'd known at the very beginning, is get a shovel. All right, so we talked about repairing buildings. Oh yeah. So we've cut one down. That was quick. Now give me another second. I'll get some more logs and I'll show you about changing designs of a building. All right, let's say we were going to build a house right here. Okay, so I'm going to hit Q for Q, and then houses, Q and then building, which is your settlement buildings, houses, simple house. Okay, and I can put it where I want to. Okay, so I place it. Now, when I go into build mode, I can walk up to it, and now by default, it's going to come out as a wattle wall with a door, a wattle wall. In other words, sticks, logs and sticks, logs and sticks. But if I want to, notice that there's an option in there, E for edit. So I hit E, and now I can decide, do I want a door here? Do I want a window here? Do I want just a plain wall? This one, we're happening to be looking at the main door. Let's say we keep it as a door, that's fine. But then I can choose, do I want it with sticks? Do I want it as just pure logs? Do I want it with logs and rocks? And you can look at 2 things. You can look at, what do I have an abundance of? I know I can go get logs. We can see now how quickly we can cut logs. So just making a totally log house would be great. Making a stone house would probably be even better. So I could convert that to a stone wall. So now I've got logs and rocks. I can also mix and match it. Say I wanted to have a nice looking log house, but I wanted a nice little wall part right in there. So I could hit E on this section and go, okay, let's keep it as a wall, but let's make it all wood, right? And then of course, for balance sake, maybe I go over here and do the same thing. E, wall, wood. I can even change the roof. I can go up here and go E and say, okay, I want a thatch roof, which is default. I want a wooden roof, or I can have a wooden tile roof, which makes it look like the pieces of wood have been tiled over each other, or just kind of a flattish roof or a tiled roof. So you could do any one of those and redesign the whole thing. And let's walk over here and I'll show you a house that was built. This house right here is just a basic simple house, but you can see it's stone all around. It's got a nice tiled roof. and it's got stone walls. And see up there, and right there I goofed. See, I put a wattle wall right there, and I really meant to have, I really was intending to avoid the sticks because they don't last very long. They don't hold up. See, this side I got it right. See, that's a wooden wall. So actually this worked out nicely, because I think what we can do now is I can show you the other functionality, which is destroy. So if we go over here and go destroy, notice how it's going to allow you to destroy all the sections. So I'm going to go up here to this one right there and destroy that one section. Then I'm going to go back into build. I'm going to go up to this one right here, and I'm going to edit it. And I'm going to say, okay, it still needs to be a wall, but we want it to be a wooden wall. Okay? So now you can see it just takes logs. It just so happens it needs 2. Hang on, I'll run and get another one, and be right back, and we'll see the finished product. Okay, so I grabbed logs. We need one more log, boop, and there we go. Now we've got a simple house, and it's got completed, and it's got the wood here. So nice looking, different house. And like I said, we could have done. You could do any combination of things. You could have the sticks in this part to stand out. You could have this log and these parts stone, or vice versa. You could have different types of roofs. But the main thing to me is you can have the stone and the logs, which hold up so much better than the sticks. And I don't know this for a fact. Somebody confirm this for me. I would assume the stone is the ultimate. That's the one you want. And I'll show you why we can afford to make buildings out of pure stone. And this guy up here, we don't want to keep this, so I'm going to go into destroy. And because we hadn't built any of the sections, we just hit the last section and destroyed that. Now it's gone. And notice how we're in red now. We can destroy whatever we want. Let's turn that off before I accidentally mess something up. Okay, so that was repairing and changing the design, which is very, very useful and kind of cool. And you can make stuff. Everything doesn't have to look exactly the same. Okay, let's talk about town design. Now, if you'll recall, way back when I started, I had envisioned like the town coming out in a straight line from that original house that I'm trying to see. Where in the world is it? Yeah, down here, this guy. Our original house, I intended to have like a straight line going out through there and then stuff coming off of it. And of course the topography didn't cooperate with me. There wasn't enough level land, whatever. And I ended up with this kind of hodgepodge build, which I don't mind, but I thought, nah, let's get more organized. So what we've done here is I've made a road. Now, how do you make a road? There are no roads in this game. Well, the way you make a road is by building. You go into buildings, farming, and lay down a field. So this would be a one lane road running out through here, 1 by 10, one by 15. And if I want to make it wider, which is what I did over there, I can make it 2 by 15. And I'm going to accept that. And you can see now, once we hoe that, it'll look very, very much like a road, but it's really a fake road. Now, in fact, I'm going to go into destroy and destroy that, because I actually don't want that. Okay, so, but here you can see, here we go. Actually, this red works out nicely. See, I've got a road running like this, and it crosses a road here. I'm looking at this as being the center of town, and that's the tavern now, but I intend to upgrade the tavern and put it right here in the center. We've got our storage facility close by, our main resource storage, which I've just built and moved over. And in a minute, I will talk a lot more about the storage and things you can do with it. So anyway, the point of that was I want to use the roads to outline where the city is, and then I want to start building against that. So, like for example, right here, and let me go out of destruction mode. Notice how it looks like this house is just right off the road. Now, I could have had it offset, might have looked better. This one I think looks good. We've got our little pseudo road running up through here, and we've got our research center, resource storage, our warehouse. I'm gonna start calling them warehouses. That's what they are. Our warehouse looks like it's just built right off of that road. It's the same thing over here with the blacksmith. The blacksmith's right there, right off the road. Okay, and then we've got our little fire pit here. And at night you can light that up, and you can spread those around or put them in various places and kind of light up your community if you want to. And later on we'll get into fencing and stone fences and all that good stuff. I'm not there yet. Okay, and I don't want to do anything with palisades until I have the whole thing lined up and I know where my boundaries are. Okay, so I'm going to run out to a different location, and I'll be right back, and we'll take a look at our mining operation. So we've moved on over to our mining location, and if you remember, we built that extraction shed you can see there at the mouth of this cave, so that we could assign somebody to come up here and mine, and they've been generating for us some limestone and salt and rocks. But we have extended things quite a bit. If you look right over here, what is that? That is another warehouse, another resource storage, and that is another one of those campfires. And here's the interesting thing about the resources: we had all that stuff in our storage over in our settlement. If we go over here and open up the chest, it's all here too. So you basically can get anything you want from any resource that you have. And notice we have 1,800 kilograms of total storage. There are actually 3 of these, and I'll get into that third one in a little bit later. But why this one? Well, because here's what we want to be able to do. We want to be able to go here and get a pickaxe, which, by the way, if you don't have one, you really should have one. And you should, best practice, buy one early. I'm going to unload all the stuff I don't need. I'll keep my clothes. I always keep that just in case. I'll keep some broadleaf plantain just in case something awful happens. And we're going to set that pickaxe to number 3. Okay. And notice that our weight is very low, under 4 pounds. I'll also notice we can carry 40 kilograms rather than 35, because we now have our skills set up. It's this one here. Level of tier 3 on extraction is mule, which gives us 5 kilograms more carrying power. So now we've got a character that can handle 40 kilograms instead of 35. That difference is huge. Now what we're going to do with our pickaxe is run in here into this cave, and then we see these kind of round rock looking things. That's really places where we can go. So if we get our pickaxe and start banging on that rock, you notice it breaks up into pieces, and it broke up into 5 rock and 2 salt. Now I'll back up a little bit and use Spidey sense, make sure I didn't miss anything. All right, let's go to our next one. And now what did it give us? There's the salt, there's rocks, and iron. So now we're starting to mine iron. One more time, we get some iron, we get rocks. I think that was it. And I'm going to stop right there, but and show you what to do with this. Now we're going to run in here. I would imagine we got a whole load of stuff, and we run in here to our chest, and we throw it in this chest. So we go over here and go move all those items over here into our storage. So now what have we done? We've not only just put it in this storage, it's also in the storage back where our smithy is. So if we're back in town, we can craft stuff. If we want to assign a villager to be a smithy, they can take that iron and make stuff for us. So now we've got rocks, and also notice we're getting rocks with all of that. And if we look at our storage again and look at the rocks, we have 300 rocks and a bunch of logs. Those logs are coming from our folks who are loading them in, and we have 51 iron. So you could come out here, spend a day, get you 100 or so iron, and then go back to the smithy and fix and work on it. You could even put a smithy out here if you chose to, and just iron and smithy all day long, and throw it in that warehouse or that resource center, resource storage, and it is available anywhere you have resource storage. So the iron is extremely profitable. Once you get into that, you get much better stuff. Like the iron axe is just awesome, but you need to have that first pickaxe. So my recommendation is buy, as soon as you can afford it, buy a pickaxe and start this process. But I would not do this process until I had a way to move this stuff quickly, because the iron is very heavy. I would not sell raw materials. I would want a value-added sell, and that means you want to be able to mine iron and then quickly, by using the resource center, move it over to your settlement and have your smithy pick it up there, either yourself or a villager, and make products out of it. And once you buy your first pickaxe, from then on, you can create your pickaxes if you've got that smithy. So as soon as you get to the smithy, as in your extraction tree of advancing, then I think you want to get into some iron, because if you make the iron arrows, they're extremely profitable. And let's take a look. If we open this up, if we look at the iron arrows, they're a good price, and we won't get 20, but we'll get a lot for them, and they don't weigh much. So you can take a tremendous amount of iron arrows with you when you go into a city to sell. Now, the nice thing about this setup we've got right here is that right up there at the top of that hill, you can just barely see a building, is a settlement with a vendor, a trader. Right over there is another settlement with another trader. So we could actually trade quite a bit right here. Like we could sell our limestone, we could sell whatever. But I'm going to take you back to yet a third place and show you how I'm really seeing all of this work. Okay, so we are on the north side of the bridge across the main river, and right over there is Gostovia, the kind of the main town where the Castellan lives, Unagast. But what is this over here? Well, let me go show you. I consider this our trading center. So what we've got here, first of all, is a third warehouse, a third resource center. And notice we didn't have arrows, but we could have them if we wanted them, right? But I'm actually going to get rid of this. Let's see. Yeah, we'll keep that. Because I want to load up on stuff to sell. Because the way I've got this now is, what this is what I think of this as a trading center. So that's too much. Let's see. I need to drop 14. There we go. So now, whatever it is I'm selling, it could be arrows, it could be, in fact, actually, let's do some arrows, even though those are the ones we have. Let's do these arrows as well. That's going to, see how it didn't even put us overweight. So we got 54 arrows to sell. We could have several hundred arrows if we were running this full blast. But the idea is now that whatever I'm doing to make money, I'm storing it in my warehouse system, and that makes it readily available right here. Well, why right here? Because right over there in Borovo there are two vendors, or traders. Right here in Gostovia there are three, so there's 5 traders very, very close to us. Run across that bridge to go to Borowo, straight up that path, one sprint, and we're in Gostovia selling our stuff. And this, by the way, is our house. I have moved out here to this stone house right here at this location. Now, why? Because what I want to do now, I'm seeing a pattern of going to the village and doing your smithy work, then running up to the mine and spending the last day of the season at the mine, mining everything you need, like the rocks, the salt, including the iron, and then allowing myself to be transported back to my home, which puts me right here at the trading center. So all the stuff that I had built the prior season in the settlement, you know, all those arrows, whatever it is I'm going to sell, the limestone, whatever it is, I can grab it here and make quick runs into Gostovia, make a lot of money very, very quickly on the first day of each season, and then go back and repeat that process, going out to the settlement and do my smithy work, go up to the mine, whatever it is I want to do, continue building out the settlement, whatever. And here we have our nice little stone house, and we could we could put a window. It wouldn't be bad. We should have a window back here. That's kind of sad not to have a window in the back. But anyway, there's our room for four, and that's our house, and has this beautiful view of the river, and this is where we live. Now, we could move. And I say we. It's just me right now. But when we get married, this is where we'll live until I decide, well, let's move back up there. And we could destroy this house and have everything up there at the settlement or whatever. But for right now, at this phase of the development of our settlement, this to me is a great way to move my character efficiently around and be able to sell stuff easily and quickly get to Gostovia to do my missions and whatever. And I will say I'm pretty far along here now. We're at the point where they want us to get married and have our dynasty. What is our reputation now? We're at 4,500. We got 12 people working for us. And by the way, if you're wondering, can our workers have children? Yes, they can. Old Switten here is a baby. Well, I don't know how old he is now. How old is he? Well, he's 0. He's not very old. I think he's the child of Olaf and Medarika. Yeah, Medarika's the mother, that's for sure. Let's see where she lives. Yeah, Olaf. Olaf and Medarika had a child. So that means we actually lost Medarika as a producer until that child is 2 years old. That child is sucking up resources, and Medarika isn't contributing for a couple of years, and that's okay. It's not a problem. You can make so much money at this that, if you're doing the right things with the trade, you can make so much money that it's not a problem. Our tax bill, you can see it's $535 by the end. It'll probably be like $1,800 or $2,000 or something like that, and no problem. We can just focus on money and make money whenever we want to. And the way I'm seeing it, the first day of each season will be money-making day, and the other 2 days will be continuing to build out the settlement or whatever. I'm also finding that I'm sleeping, like I said, not at all. Not at all. Just work through the night, especially with the spidey sense, so you can see animals. You can hunt through the night if you want to. But what I'm doing a lot of really actually is building and working on the settlement at night. Okay, what else did I want to tell you? Yes, multiple food storages. They work the same way as the resources. And this food right here, notice we're actually full. We actually need another food storage, and I would be really tempted to put it out there at our mine. Now, why? Could we put them all in the settlement? Of course we could. But the reason I'd want them where I have them, the reason I have this one here is so that I can grab food, grab meals, and contribute food if I do hunting and stuff to the rest of the settlement easily without having to run all the way up there to do it. So all I have to do is pop food into this or take food out of that, and it participates in the entire thing. So I've got an open item now to build more food storage and hopefully work our way up to improved food storage at some point. Let's see, which tree is that on? Here we go. Yeah, we got a ways to go. We got to go down the farming path some more to get to food storage too, which will allow us bigger storage. But anyway, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to share with you at this point. There were a few things. Oh, I did want to say the shovel is awesome. You have to have a shovel. I think I mentioned that already. You got to have that. Your villagers need a lot of wood, so one little wood shed is not going to cut it once you get a number of villagers in place. You've got to really watch that and give them a lot of wood. And I'm still experimenting with how much I want to, what happens to logs and firewood and that stuff, and what the right ratios are. If anybody's done any research on that, please put it in the comments or point me to the research that's out there on how the wood should be distributed. Coming from the wood shed is probably not the ideal thing. I'd like to know if I need to be going in there and taking some of those logs and cutting them into firewood. In fact, we could do a quick experiment here in just a moment. The hunting lodge works great. We've got the hunting lodge off at a remote site. I've got a hunter and a gatherer out there, and they're very productive. And my recommendation for now, particularly at this stage of development, we're just kind of early mid settlement. We're not in the advanced stuff at all. I would focus settlers as you recruit them on raw materials. Don't put them on crafting. They're not as efficient. I've seen articles written about that where they don't develop their skills as quickly. And I'm also noticing that the idea that I keep lamenting all these crap people, 1s and 2s and 3s, that I think that's the way the game is set up now. You're not finding 6s and 7s out there. They have to develop over time, and you have to develop them by using them. So there you go. That's the idea. That's where we are. And let's just do a quick experiment. Let's look at our wood. We have 146 wood. We're actually doing pretty well right now. We have 146 wood. We got 1, 2, 3 active lumberjacks. Metarika is a mother, so she's not doing anything right now. Notice the happiness. Oh, I got 2 homeless. How did that happen? Let's look at that real fast. That shouldn't be. There's a house right there they can move into. I'm surprised they didn't just do that automatically. Although male, female, maybe. I think I now pronounce you man and wife. I think that's what just happened. Interesting. Have to look into that some more. But let's do a little experiment. We've got 146 wood available for our villagers. Let's take these logs that are here. Let's take 20 of them. Out. Okay? And now let's see how much wood there is. Well, there would be less if it could run. Yeah, see there, it dropped to 106. Okay, now let's go into crafting and make firewood. Now I'll be right back when this is done. We're going to make 20 logs into firewood. All right, so that firewood is ready. Remember we had, what was it, 146, I think? So let's open this chest, and let's take the 80 firewood and put them in here, and let's see how much wood we have. 182. So it definitely went up, but I don't know if it may have only gone up by the factor of how much, logs convert into more firewood. And maybe that's just the simple answer. Duh. Make more wood by making more firewood. That just kind of makes sense. So maybe that's a good way to address wood shortages, is just grab the logs and make them into firewood. have to do some more research on that. If anybody knows the answer or knows where to look, let me know if they know a good place where we can get some information about that. Okay, so I hope this was all helpful for you. I'm going to keep playing, and then I'll come back at a later date with another update like this, and kind of walk us through a few more things that we've learned. You know what? I think one I skipped was, this is one several of you, Marcel was the first person I noticed, but several of you have told me when I'm journaling and I want to say, oh, why can't I see this particular quest or that particular one? If I hit F, which is track quest, then when I go back out, see how it's the Dynasty continues, and if I go back in there, go to journal and hit Unigas story and hit F, track quests, and now I'm looking at Unigas. And the other nice thing is, if it's something where I have to go take something to somebody, we get a nice gold exclamation mark up there in the middle in our where our compass is, that allows us to track the person that we're supposed to be targeting. So that's just really nice. That's very useful. So thank you, Marcel. Thank you to all the rest of you who commented later on that. All right, I hope you found all that helpful, and please keep commenting and sharing information with all of us. And if you want Medieval Dynasty to continue, hit that like button and let me know that you would like to have the series continue. I will keep playing the game, whether or not I keep making videos. That'll depend upon your response. If you really want to see some more, hit that like button.